Every win under Michael Carrick, Manchester United move closer to Champions League football. The closer to Champions League football Manchester United gets, the more and more rumours about what money Manchester United are going to spend this summer. And the more and more rumours that come out about Manchester United spending Champions League money, it means bigger and bigger targets and a variety of targets that Michael Carrick might want in himself. The stories around the media get a little bit more, let's just say, far out and out there as we get closer to confirming Manchester United's position going into next season. The money is massive. We know this. The stories tonight are probably the biggest they've been for weeks in terms of potential transfer targets to Manchester United. I mentioned only this morning on the live show after that game last night that the media are getting more and more bullish with the reports coming out. They're assuming Manchester United at the moment are going to have money to spend because of Champions League placing. We're hearing about Morgan Gibbs-White, Mickey van der Ven on Manchester United's transfer targets, along with a double swoop for Gordon and Tonali. We have spent, according to the media today and the reports that I'm going to tell you about in this live show now, we have spent around about 400 million already before we've even finished this season. This is all because of Michael Carrick. I'm going to update you on the stance and everything that's been talked about on Michael Carrick. We talked this morning about not so much an agenda, but the pundits and the media not wanting to go back on what their original opinion was because Michael Carrick has firmly put everyone in their place with how well he's done at Manchester United. And no one knows really where to go with it. They don't want to jump the gun and say he's not good enough and then he keeps winning. But they don't want to overcommit to saying that Michael Carrick's the right man for the job in case it all starts to go Pete Tong this season. There's 11 games left. One of them is against one of the worst form teams in the league this Sunday at Old Trafford in Crystal Palace, which will leave us with 10 games left. Everyone else has got to play each other. United have got the home games against rivals that are also fighting for the Champions League. It's getting ever and ever closer to Manchester United pretty much having all of their finances back. I heard a piece on Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, earlier on. They were talking in the situation on Spurs and them being relegated, comparing finances from Champions League this season and the Premier League to what they might get in the Championship next season. Serious talk. And obviously, it doesn't really affect Manchester United, but the finances and what Kieran Maguire was saying are absolutely astronomical in Champions League and Premier League. Spurs earning 125 million from the Premier League in one season compared to 35-40 million in parachute payments in the Championship is one thing. But the key thing that he did say, and this is where United do come into it, is if Michael Carrick gets Manchester United Champions League football, Spurs have already this season, without gate receipts, have earned 70 million from the Champions League alone. And we've only just finished the league phase. We've got round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, all to come. Of course, Spurs are not going to go all of the way, but you are guaranteed to have 10 games in the Champions League. Spurs, even if they go out in the round of 16, are set to pocket approximately 80 plus million from the Champions League plus gate receipts. Manchester United's gate receipts on top of that type of money, with Old Trafford being packed out every single week, puts in perspective how much money Manchester United are going to bring in next season if they make Champions League. And that's why all of these stories in the media are coming out and everyone's talking about who Manchester United are going to potentially buy. Michael Carrick is at the heart of this now because more and more talk of him being in charge at the end of the season is coming out alongside these transfer stories. In fact, Samuel Luckhurst is where we'll kick off tonight's show. And he says that from the United hierarchy's perspective, if they qualify for the Champions League, playing crowd-pleasing football under a coach who has been in the building for 5 or 6 months, is respected by the players and revered by the supporters, it is logical to retain him. Yeah, stating the obvious, I know. That's literally what comes to mind. Well done, Samuel. Of course, that is going to be the state of play. Look, I've listened to nearly everyone's opinion this morning on the radio, or heavily critical people on Manchester United, and they're all stuck. They don't know which way to go. They don't want to say it's a ridiculous idea or it's a ridiculous idea to employ Carrick. So for and against. They don't want to overly commit. They can't say it's right or wrong is basically what I'm saying here now. And that, I think, is the opinion of most. Michael Carrick's going to go into this game this weekend and he's on the brink of 6 wins from 7. That there would be crazy. That's 19 points. 19 points then Michael Carrick has accumulated in his first 7 games. That is big. That is something that you cannot ignore and has put Manchester United firmly in the Champions League picture. A win this weekend takes us to 51 points. All of this talk about United being in the Champions League has obviously spurred on all the transfer talk, and that's where I'm going next. And Chris Wheeler and Nate Salt from the Daily Mail are the ones that are running the story with Morgan Gibbs-White at the moment. Obviously, we have interest in Nottingham Forest Elliot Anderson, but Morgan Gibbs-White is going under the radar. I don't necessarily see Gibbs-White as a 6 though. He's an 8. He is an 8. He's an energetic. In fact, he's more of a 10 type of player. But look, he plays 8. He can play 8. I like him. I do. I like his tenacity. I like his play. I think he was on Manchester City's radar at one point for Pep Guardiola. I think he is a Fergie type signing. I know we're going down nostalgia road at the moment with Michael Carrick being there and it being the closest thing to what we've had since Alex Ferguson finished, blah-de-blah, but still, like, we can actually still bring up Sir Alex Ferguson. The DNA of Manchester United is back, and that's what's being said. I did a video on Adam FC. Go watch it back, everybody. I did it earlier on today, just before lunchtime, on the fact that Manchester United are now being hated upon again, and it feels great that we're being hated. I've seen so many people come out on social media from last night having a go at Manchester United. Who does Cunha think he is? Celebrating a win like you've won a cup final or you're winning the league. Celebrating winning a dead ball like Cunha. All of this crap coming out, and standards and where have United fallen to and all of this. They're all scared that United can get it right. Everything I've just said at the top of the show there regarding the finances and what Champions League brings. You put Manchester United's infrastructure in place and the new setup that we've got now with player wages and sensible transfers, sensible contracts, and that money behind them, all of the sponsors coming back on board, like Adidas, full pay. I guarantee if United win the Champions League, sponsors won't be far away for the shirt sleeve sponsor and obviously the training kit sponsor as well. As much as a hindrance and what Sir Jim Ratcliffe has done behind the scenes hasn't really helped United, there will be sponsors there for United because they're going to bring in the money, and they are hot property at the moment. It is what it is with United. Everyone wants a piece of them, and the deals will come in if we get Champions League. I'm not so confident if we don't, but still, you'd expect the Man United power of the commercial side of things to really kick in at this point anyway. If we're in European football, we're playing more games, we're on TV more, and therefore it's easy for sponsors to come in. That, with Champions League, everything else, the spending power, the players that are leaving the football club, the wages that we're actually signing. Let's get into these transfer rumours, because this is what Nate Salt and Chris Wheeler has said from the Daily Mail today. Manchester United's new pay scale may hinder their efforts to persuade Morgan Gibbs-White or Elliot Anderson to turn down bigger offers from other clubs and move to Old Trafford. So straight away, setting off with a warning. He is on Manchester United's radar. It depends what Morgan Gibbs-White is on right now. We can speculate, we can look on websites, we can guess. What is he on right now? I think at the end of the day, Manchester United will pay well if United are winning. United have always made this clear under Ineos, and I think even them wouldn't be that stringent with their purse strings if United were competing and winning. Like I've just said, the further you go in the Champions League, the money involved is off the scale compared to what United have been used to. We've not featured or played in the new format of the Champions League yet. Literally, you would have to get to probably the last 8 near semi-finals to bring in the amount of money now just for competing in the first phase of the competition. That's the difference. United haven't played this new format yet. It's only 2 seasons old. If United get into this, then United have the spending power and they have the money then to back what they need to do and stabilise this football club. If we continuously get Champions League football, then United are back, because United will be ahead of everyone else. Like I've said many times before, sorry to bore you all with the details, but that financial fair play change is going to be massive if United have got Champions League football. It just is. It's as simple as that. because United's revenues will be through the roof and they will be able to spend the majority of that, whereas now it is different. It's not a 3-year package now with PSR and calculating the books 3 years in advance. It's one season. It's agents, wages and player transfers. That's it. Infrastructure costs and everything else don't even come into it. So it's easy for Manchester United with the revenues that we will bring in to make the signings we need, offer players like Gibbs-White and Elliot Anderson and whoever it is we're going for, the right type of package and the right type of, let's just say, bonuses and rewards, because there is incentives in every single player's contract. And if you compete and win trophies, it pretty much pays for itself. Depends on the ambition of certain players as well. I know a lot of people are going to be attracted to Manchester City, of course. They're obviously there and they're winning things right now. You might get the same. Well, I can't say the same because Arsenal haven't won anything yet. But if Arsenal win something, the hoodoo's off their back. And then players might look at that and go, well, we could go to City or we could go to Arsenal. We could go to the capital, live down in London, live a nice life and actually be pretty much guaranteed to win trophies. Because I feel like once a team does start winning things, then they're obviously then over that hurdle of not being able to win things. And they lose that tag, that bottle tag, and they can move forward. And then players might be attracted to that particular club. I'm talking Arsenal here. I don't want to mention them, that's all. And I think that might be something that Man United are up against. But United have always had the knack of winning trophies. And if we can start winning trophies like what we have done in recent years, and then move up that table, sustain Champions League football, have a chance to invest that money because of these new rules, then we are going to attract the better players yet again. It is going to come down to the manager that's in place, though. Would Carrick like Morgan Gibbs-White? Apparently, Ruben Amorim liked Morgan Gibbs-White, and he might have been one of Amorim's players. We have later found out that Amorim really didn't really have a say, did he? Because Ineos want to bring them players in. Are Nottingham Forest going to release 2 of their best players in that squad in the same summer? That's another question you have to bring up as well. But these players not being in European football next season, which is now pretty much nailed on guaranteed for Nottingham Forest, unless they win the Europa League. In fact, I don't think they would beat Aston Villa anyway in the Europa League. I don't think they will win the Europa League. Personally, just don't see it with their commitments to the Premier League. The money that's involved in the Europa League is nothing compared to the Premier League. I know it gets them into the Champions League, but can you imagine? I just don't see Forest being able to sustain a relegation battle in the Premier League and compete in the Europa League. I don't. I think Villa will commit to the Europa League because that's how Unai Emery works. He likes that trophy. He's won it before and it gets you Champions League anyway. So it's a fine balance for them and both of them teams, but guaranteed really, I feel, Forest are not going to be in Europe next season and the big players are going to be on the move. There are clauses in contracts. We've spoken about this before. If worst case scenario comes about and they get relegated, which could still happen, I don't think it will, but you never know. If we're talking about Spurs going down, we can talk about, obviously, West Ham. We can talk about Nottingham Forest as well. It is a possibility. And then I think the transfer window opens up even more with release clauses and whatnot, relegation clauses throughout. We know for certain from Ben Jacobs saying that Elliot Anderson, for instance, has around about a 40 million release clause if Forest are relegated. Oh, God, can you imagine getting him for that price? I think you'd have every single club bidding for Elliot Anderson at that point, and you could offer him more wages because the package overall that we're talking about here, wages and transfer fees and instalment payments coming together with them new financial fair play rules that I'm talking about, it becomes more affordable. You could pay him 200, 250 grand a week if you wanted and easily afford it because you're not paying a big transfer fee. And that's what the big teams will look at with the new rules going into the summer. They can do it. Others might not be able to, and it might cause a bit of friction within their squads, but the big clubs will definitely be in that boat and they will be able to spend more on wages and package up these deals to make it suit the player and give them the incentives that they need. So it's going to be a real battle for the best players this summer. Gibbs-White and Elliot Anderson, I can both see leaving Forest this summer because I don't think they're going to be back in Europe. And I don't think that's enough for them players now. They want to be in that England squad. They want to be playing European football. And at Nottingham Forest, with that setup and the circus that follows it around with that owner, it's just not going to happen, is it? Definitely not. That's your opening. Carrick, Gibbs, White. Get them subjects talked about. Get into the live comment section, please, everybody. Thank you for all likes. We have already gone over 100. Really appreciate that, everyone. Please, if you haven't already and you're enjoying the content, get into the comment section and give me your thoughts, everybody. Actually, I'm waiting, by the way. If you were watching last night, I have got the results of the Big Up giveaway. I'll work them out. I've just had them sent over to me now. So at the end of the show, we'll announce the winners on the Big Up show as well. I did promise you that earlier on. So 10 winners tonight, everyone. So please do make sure that you are tuned in right to the end of the show if you want to know who the winners are for that also. Right, comments. Let's see what we've got in here today. Hello, everyone. Hello to all of the regulars and new people in on the chat. Please do make sure that you also hit that subscribe button as well to stay tuned with everything going on at United. I've got you covered. But David Boy says, if Spurs or Newcastle by a miracle win the Champions League in fifth, win a Champions League place in fifth place, still going to get us a Champions League. Right. So I said that wrong then. If by a miracle Newcastle or Spurs win the Champions League, will we still get a Champions League place? I'm not sure about that one. Manchester United with the coefficient, the Premier League has 5 places. So you're guaranteed 5. Now we've already said this season we've got 6 teams in. 6 teams in the Champions League because Spurs won the Europa League. So we had the coefficient 5 and Spurs won the Europa. I think it would be 6 again. The problem you've got with that is if Aston Villa or Forest win the Europa League and get into the Champions League, it's absurd scenarios. I know. I don't know at that point. I don't know if you allowed 7 teams from one country in the Champions League. You could literally fill that whole qualifying 8 places that go automatically into the knockout phases with Premier League clubs near enough. I'm not saying that would happen either, but it is a weird scenario, and I don't think so. What we've got to do is we've just got to make sure that we're in the top 4, and that probably is the only way that you're going to guarantee to be in it. I think the coefficient would definitely, because it's such a big thing for UEFA, give us 5 teams anyway. So make sure that you're in that top 5, and then worry about the other cup winners in Europe from other Premier League clubs. Then I wouldn't go over the top with it anyway. Villa isn't good enough to win Europa League either. Maybe if they do drop off, that we can get Tielemans or Kamara or Rodgers. These are the things I spoke about before. Big teams dropping out of the Champions League, they're going to lose big players, I feel. We get to Champions League and have another good summer window like last year, and next season will be exciting, and the rest of the league need to worry because United are on their way back, baby. I like that, Welsh Red. I like the confidence there, my man. Super chats are popping in. Let's go through them. 1 Inch Wonder says, Jason Wilcox calls Sir Jim Daddy, the game's gone. Yeah, okay. We are allowed a maximum of 7 if winners of the Champions League and Europa League finish outside the top 5. Thank you for that, Glenn. I don't think it'll come to it, but it is murky waters regarding the rules and what could potentially happen there. But Glenn's just cheered it up there. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. Really appreciate that, mate. The other stories regarding transfers, there is a story which involves Mickey van der Ven from Spurs being a Manchester United target. I've seen this pop up a few times now. The story generally of it is come from Team Talk, Fraser Fletcher. You might have seen it online. All we're getting in terms of this story is, and you can believe it or not, I thought he was destined for Liverpool. The story is Man United are seriously interested in signing Tottenham centre-back Mickey van der Ven. I would take him. I think he's a quality player. Who drops out for Manchester United, though? We were talking earlier on yesterday about Harry Maguire getting a new deal. And by the way, the injury update on Leacher is that he is going to be back and probably is in contention maybe for the weekend. Some are saying. even Newcastle next week. It's not that serious. So the worries we had last night, it seems to have been played down, let's just say today. So hopefully that is true, and we are going to get Leacher back quite soon. Whether he gets back in the team, that's an interesting one, because I didn't think Lenny Yoro played half bad at all last night. We'll see on that one anyway. By the way, the injury update on Patrick Dorgu is United will not rush him back at all. They're not going to try and get him back. Obviously, March is a low month for Manchester United anyway, again, because of the gaps that we've got. No FA Cup. It's an international break as well. I think we've only got, 3 or 4 games max in the whole month of March. It might even be 3. I don't know actually. I think because we play on Sunday and it's officially the 1st of March, I think we squeeze 4 into the month, but not much at all there. So United are not rushing him back, and he's expected to be back in April. First couple of weeks of April is when Man United fans can expect to see Patrick Dorgu again. So there are your 2 big injury updates. We haven't had anything else on Mason Mount or obviously Matthias de Ligt. We will get that update on Friday when Michael Carrick speaks to the media. There is going to be loads in that press conference on Friday, and loads of questions being asked now from the media regarding Carrick and his future and all of this transfer news that's going on. Surely, if you are winning and winning and winning and getting closer to Champions League, it's going to be difficult, and there has to be some form of communication between the hierarchy and Michael Carrick, because he is going to have some form of input into what happens in the summer. I reckon there are discussions, but they're not going to come out in public, and no one is going to say anything at Manchester United regarding what's been said between him and obviously the hierarchy. But moving on to that next story, you look at the Anthony Gordon and Sandro Tonali. Now, this, again, Ben Jacobs running this story is saying that Man United are set to go blockbuster price, 225 million on the pair of them. No. That's how I look at it straight away. I don't think that they're worth that amount of money. Look, in terms of players, Prem proven, absolute quality, yes, that's where we're at. We've spoken a plenty on Tonali and Anthony Gordon over the last few weeks, and I don't want to go too much into them, but again, Ben Jacobs doubling down pretty much on this story, whether or not Manchester United do go through with it and push for Gordon or Tonali. Now, I mean, Newcastle are in action this week, Champions League, second legs. I think it's tonight, actually, isn't it? Already 6-1 up, loads of rest and changes. And I think it's Newcastle at home to Everton on Sunday or Saturday. I can't remember which one. Might be Sunday. That's a tough game for them. And then they've got us on the Wednesday. So, yeah, squad running quite thin at Newcastle. They are playing not too bad at the moment. The only hope that they've got is a late surge in. And just to put it in perspective again of where Newcastle are this season, they are 12 points behind Manchester United now in hunt for Champions League football. 12. Man United have only lost 5 games all season. We'd have to lose 4 to rack up them points. Obviously, could make it in draws as well, but Newcastle are not going to win that many games and United drop that many points, I don't think. And I think the stories of Newcastle players leaving the club are all based around what we heard from Sandro Tonali's agent, the fear of not being in the top competitions, not being in the Champions League next season. Whether Anthony Gordon falls into that as well, I got no idea. I don't know if Eddie Howe will still be in a job come the summer. We're hearing stories about Voltemeda wanting to leave as well at the end of the season. Visa's not hit it off. There is a lot of unrest within the ranks of Newcastle at the moment. I think this is where these stories are circulating from. This is where it's coming from. And again, United just there prepared to take advantage with their newfound riches of Champions League and are ready to bid big for both of these players. We will see if that happens. I honestly don't see both of them happening. I think Tonali is probably the best bet. And then you're looking at, obviously there, we've just mentioned 2 8s already on the show alone, which is Tonali and Gibbs White. Which one of them would you go for? Get into the comment section and let me know, everyone. I'm going to come into the chat now and get some more of your comments. So please do bear with us on this as well. Right. You can compete with renewed membership. It says smash the like button, please, people. Subscribe if you're new. Share. Help the channel grow. FUTV family, thank you very much for that, matey. No, is that not a case of one in, one out? We are going to need a deeper squad when in more competitions next season. Can't hurt to have a bigger squad. No, it can't. Van der Ven on a cheap to follow after Maguire. If Spurs get relegated, ooh, you may see a bit of an exodus from them. Yeah, they won't announce anything too early, says Deborah. No, definitely not. No manager comes to mind for me regarding anyone coming in other than Michael Carrick. Morgan's for me, please. He stands out in that Nottingham Forest team big time. They might offload Alanga to us as well. That Newcastle. Sorry, couldn't resist. He's had a poor season, Anthony Alanga. I don't think he's going anywhere. That has been one of the worst transfers, and I hate to say it because I like Alanga. It's been one of the worst transfers of the summer. One of the worst. Nigel says Tonali for me over Gibbs White. We shouldn't give Newcastle over 100 million for either, says Compost Smith. I don't think United would, to be honest. Graham Richardson says, if Carrick gets us a top four, what's the point of risking getting another manager in? I think that's where the majority of the fan base is at the moment. They're not convinced that Manchester United could go out and find a top-class manager to work with them better than what's happening now, which is Prem-proven because Carrick's taken Man United to the Champions League places. So that, I think, is definitely outweighing any potential new manager coming in or head coach coming in, because there just isn't enough out there, I don't think, at the moment, which is shouting out, I have to be the next Man United head coach. There isn't anywhere near enough. So again, Carrick is moving further and further away. Another win this weekend, like I said at the top of the show, that's 6 in 7. That's too much to ignore at this point, Nen. No one's going to give it in right now, and no one's going to make an announcement, but all of these points stacking up are all going to push towards the Champions League, and Champions League is the holy grail. In fact, it has been stated that Manchester United now, I think this is through all of the prediction machines and Opta and stats and facts and everything like that, Manchester United now 72% chance of making the Champions League next season. And that's where Manchester United's odds are right now. Lots of people heavily backing Manchester United, but with the games that they have got to come and everything else laid out with the way that other teams are performing, United's form, they put all this into the computers, and it is now 72% chance United make Champions League football. Obviously, with every win, that moves further and further up in terms of the percentage. United just have to keep at it, keep winning games. I said it before, I said it right at the start. The more games United win, the more talk of Carrick staying, the more talk of Champions League football and Champions League football riches that follow with it. So there you go. In terms of players out and players in, like we just said, I don't think there'll be many leaving apart from the obvious. Carrick's made it very clear he really doesn't rate Manuel Ugarte. He's never going to get in this side this season. He's gone. Joshua Zirkzee, the same. Wants to trust in youth, and obviously he's already brought Shea Lacey through. He's one of his favourite academy players. We've seen Jack Morehouse last night, and we've seen Tyler Fletcher several times within the Man United squad. That won't be the case when the big guns come back, like Mason Mount, Leacher, Patrick Dorgu, Matthias de Ligt. We'll see all the academy players drop back down into the academy setup at the club. So I don't expect that to continue throughout the season when the players come back. But I think Carrick is willing to allow the likes of Ugarte, Zirkzee, Casemiro to leave. United need to bring in, obviously, 6 more players for the first team on top of that to replace them, and obviously bring in 3 more to strengthen the squad. The academy can back that up where necessary throughout the season. I think when you look at it, the other players leaving that we're going to get money for are not even at the club right now. The Andre Onana situation. The Bayende situation, he is at the club, but we'll obviously have a replacement for him coming in the summer in Radek Vitek, coming back from Bristol City. And then you're looking at Marcus Rashford. Apparently, the story's coming from Spain right now. Just to give you an update on that is, there is one source saying that he has agreed personal terms now with Barcelona. I don't think this was too much of an issue. Obviously, the elections for president of Barcelona are in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I think it is actually, 15th of March. So that's coming up as well. And Juan Laporta, obviously, his push is to keep Marcus Rashford at the club. And that's his election pitch for re-election, that is, because he's already there. He is saying he will get Marcus Rashford signed up. Apparently, Rashford has agreed to a pay cut at Barcelona now. And that should be, like we've said before, 26 million in the bank. 43 million for Rasmus Højlund. And then, of course, what you get for Xerxes, what you get for Agate, the wages that them players are obviously letting go of. Sancho's wages are gone. Anthony's not Anthony, Malacia's 75 grand a week. And that's off the books. Half of Harry Maguire's wages are off the books. There is a lot of money there for Manchester United from player sales as well. They do need to start recouping a lot of that money, what they can, to try and balance everything out. But the windfall of Champions League is definitely going to balance Manchester United's finances if we get in there, alongside these player sales. Because United will structure the deals to work over the next 4 to 5 years, possibly, in this transfer window. And they will get time and they will get room to do that under these new rules. So that's the plan. Financially for United, Champions League is the be-all and we need it. Into that academy, though, by the way, wanted to mention this quickly because this went under the radar last night, which was a 4-goal hit in the under-21s for Chido Obi. 4-1 United, 4 goals for Chido Obi against Leicester. Obviously, that wouldn't be spoken about because the big story was Benjamin last night and United's 3 points against Everton. But Chido Obi is making the headlines again. He's on a bit of a goal-scoring streak at the moment. Like we said, start of the season, a little bit off it. Attitude issues, few things that weren't right. Got a taste for the big time. Now being brought back in to the under-21s. Just turned 18. He has changed. He is starting to adapt. He's got his head down and he's working. And from what I have watched over the last 3 games in particular, that's 6 goals in 3 in the under-18s and the under-21s now. So you can talk about him playing under-18s football and that being easier. He's just stepped up yesterday into the under-21s at 18 and scored 4. So again, there are players that are going to be knocking on the door the next couple of years at Manchester United. We've done separate shows on this, but big shout out. 4 goals at any level is always big, but Chido at it again and in top goal scoring form at the moment for Manchester United, and his season has well and truly turned around at academy level. So more prospects on their way through the ranks at Manchester United, which is always good for us to talk about, and is always a real, I think, positive for most Man United fans. Let's get some more comments. Spurs might be relegated and win the Champions League. Football don't make sense anymore. Do you think Spurs could win the Champions League? Not in a million years has that team got anything in it that shouts out Champions League contenders or even last 8 competitors to me. Never mind winning the bleeding thing. What else have we got in here as well? The club need to get the correct players in this summer. They have to be big, the right quality for what we need. I fear they will bring in a couple of academy players and think that's okay. We need the best. I don't think they're going to bring academy players in to start games. They will bring in, I think, a few transfers this summer. I think it will be busy for Manchester United. I'm fully convinced it will be. I don't think Man United can look at losing the likes of Casemiro and not replace him with top quality. He has been very good, although poor last night again for United. Poor last night for United, and again another poor performance overall, like West Ham, but we got the points. Casemiro has been outstanding for us, so I do think that he needs the right quality to come in after he leaves. That's something that Manchester United cannot afford to let go. And there is no one in that academy that has got anywhere near the quality to replace someone like him. Just want to make that very clear. That cannot happen, and I don't think it will happen at United. There's nothing of that sort of talk anyway at the moment, which is good. Academy players taking their moments here and there is what we want to be hearing, and then progressing through. I think that's where we need to be. David Ornstein said, United, even if many sales happen, will not go overboard with transfers. Don't expect 5 or 7 transfers. I expect 6 on that one. Ornstein stating the obvious. I listened to that as well. It is based on Manchester United making sure that the deals are not extortionate, which is why we have a massive list of players. They're not going to overspend. What he means is that Manchester United are not going to go blockbuster like some people have said. 100 million signing there, 100 million signing there. That's not their idea. They're hoping to obviously get the right prices for these players. Get the right players, but get them at the right price. And United have just held what they had in January to do this, because there are clauses in contracts that they will know about United that they can attack come the summer transfer window. We may get to hear about them as the window opens and all of the speculation starts flying around everywhere. And we'll see on that, and we'll see. But I mentioned Kieran Maguire at the top of the show, and him highlighting the money that is involved in the Champions League goes a massive, massive way for this football club. And he used the example of Spurs and the 70 million that they've already brought in from UEFA for the Champions League without gate receipts. So you add 4 gate receipts to that as well. And you can imagine what they were earning from that stadium on them nights. Packed out, sold out. Now use Manchester United's numbers on Old Trafford and calculate that. There's probably going to be more money in the Champions League next season. It keeps on going up and up and up. And don't forget, we told you the news the other day. You have to be in the Champions League to even be considered in the new format of the Club World Cup, which is coming up in obviously another few years. But still, the money involved in that and it going from I think it's 32 to 48 teams in that competition, that is big also. That's massive for every single club. So we have to be in and amongst it in the Champions League. Money is there. Money will be there. I don't think United are going to go out and just spend that money because we've got it. I think it goes into the window with a sensible head on it again, and Ineos trying to make the best deals that they possibly can, which I'm all for. I'm all for. I thought we spent well, and I thought we spent the money that we should in the summer on them 4 players in particular. Just one more was needed. I don't know if we ran out. I don't know what the situation was. We were prepared, by all accounts, to go and buy Carlos Baleba, and we haven't brought anyone else in since then. You could argue Senna Lamens, but that was, what, 18 million? So if we were going to go and buy Baleba, there was money there at the end of last summer. We spent nothing so far this January, this year. So going into this summer, the money was there to buy Baleba. They were going to bid and buy Semenyo. So we know there's something there for one big player. And then you add to that, like I've just said there, Joshua Zirkzee's transfer fee, Manuel Ugarte's transfer fee, Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford. These players, obviously Andre Onana, Altay Bayındır. We're not having to bring replacements in for them because we've got Vitek coming through the ranks. Man United have got money. It's where it's spent, I think, is the big question. How it's spent on transfer fees and how much United are willing to go when it comes to their top targets. Adam, start defending Ineos. Clowns, that idiots are a reason Glazers will stay United forever. Am I backing them? You numpty. Sorry, mates. I'm going to have to call you that because you made a stupid comment. I'm not backing anything. I'm saying that the facts are there. We spent well with what we did last transfer window. If you don't want to celebrate the goals that we scored over these last 6 games because the players that Ineos got good deals for scored them, that's up to you as a fan, mate. But I'm going to keep cheering the players that they got good deals for and brought into Manchester United. Fact, fact, fact. And fact, because there was 4 of them. It's not defending them. If you listen to other shows, I slag them off. I'll only say what I see. And I like the transfers that came in. Sue me. Like, I don't care. I want Man United to win games. That's all I want. And in time, I don't know what will happen with the ownership. I hope the Glazers are out. I don't know what's happening with Ineos. They might get their ship in order. They might go as well. I honestly don't care as long as there's competent people running this football club and taking advantage of the infrastructure that's been built over the years to give them the chance to be here right now and be running Manchester United. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. The transfer window, I think there will be big judgment on Ineos this transfer window because people are expecting a lot, myself included. I do think we need to spend big. Otherwise, we're in trouble. We are. Because this squad cannot work through a 60-game season with the players that we've got. So there needs to be serious investments into Manchester United. Let's see what Ineos can do then. And let's see if we're slagging them off come the summer. It's all open, mate. It is all open. Anyway, thank you, everyone. That is our show all wrapped up. We had over 200 likes. Fantastic. Again, brilliant. Now, loving the contributions and loving everyone getting involved in the shows. That is us finished for today, everyone. If anything else does come out, I will be all over it. I doubt it. So that means that we will be back 8 o'clock tomorrow morning with the normal scheduled show, as always, bringing you Man United news. I will be there bang on 8 to make sure that you're all there as well, everybody. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all of the likes. Thank you, everybody who was involved in the show this evening. Actually, almost forgot. There is one more super chat there. Keeping Rashford in the pub is more accurate, says Mark. Sorry, I missed that super chat there, but I did also miss the prize winners. Right. I promised you, if you entered our prediction game last night, we have got the prize winners for our games. Let me get them up right now. Sent across random draw of anyone who is in this table. So, by the way, we had on the game last night 14 winners in terms of the prediction game itself. So, here we go with the winners. They've been sent across to me. I got big up to randomly pick them out themselves for me. So, first one is Blazy. And there's 10 of these because we're bringing in the West Ham as well on this one. So, Blazy, first one, B-L-A-Z. Next one on the list was Mick in the Land, I think is how you say it. So, Mick in the Land. So, that was number 2 on that one. Riverbird69 was another one in there. Another win for United Spotlight. Carl, if you're in the show tonight, mate, you are a winner, buddy. Get in there, mate. I love that. It's one of the regulars getting a prize as well. Someone called Joe. These are all your big up names, by the way, everybody. So please listen in on this. Not your YouTube name, the one you have registered on Big Up with. That's Joe. So that was the first 5 out. Next in on the next game was, first of all, it was Alistair 13 on that one. Then it was someone called Charlie with a blue shirt as his profile picture. Then we had, I'm sure I've seen one of the regulars in on this as well. I'm sure it was one of our normal, I don't know if he actually is, you know. Sanchez, I'm sure Sanchez has won before. That was another one. That was the third one on last night's draw. He actually won a prize last night as well. I think he got some of his predictions right as well. So yeah, Sanchez is in as well. Hugasan, I don't know if that's how you say it. Sorry, I'm just reading them off the actual screen here from what Bigger have sent me. So Hugosan, that was in the prediction league last night as well. And there was one more, which was, I'm sure it was Silverback. Let me see. Yep, Silverback. Are you in? I'm sure he's in the chat here with us tonight. I think I've got 2 of our regulars in there. Carl, first of all, United Spotlight, and Silverback. I think Silverback's won it for the 2nd time now. I'm sure he has. That's 2 wins. I'm sure he will get into the email. The email is in the description, at the bottom of the description, everybody. If you just contact us there, I am a winner on OK Jerseys from the previous 2 streams. It doesn't matter what, they're the 10 names that Big Up has sent me for the prizes. Please do make sure that you go back on the show, make sure that you get the names right. If you are a winner, email us through the description in this video. It's in there right now. That's the email that you need to send us one to. We will then send you a code and you can choose whichever top that you want for that equivalent value. I have spoke to OK Jerseys today to clear it all. We are finalised. We are done. Them 10 will receive their tops. So please just email us with "I'm a winner" with the name on. Big up. We will match it up and we'll get you that prize. Thank you everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. That is our show this evening. Have a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Like, share and subscribe.